Hey everyone, today we are going to talk about the port of Port Canaveral, right there smack in the middle of Florida, right after this. Hey everyone, John here from Bite Size Cruises. Welcome back to our channel. If it's your first time here, we are a small travel agency that specializes in cruise travel. Today we're going to talk about Port Canaveral. So I was in Port Canaveral probably 10 times in the last 2 years. If you leave out of New York or New Jersey, generally Port Canaveral is going to be your first stop on the way down to the Bahamas or the Caribbean, anything that you're going to do, even if you leave out of Baltimore. So we've left out of New Jersey a bunch of times last year and Baltimore this year so far. So we've been to Port Canaveral a lot. Pros and cons there in Port Canaveral. Number one, so we talked about Charleston yesterday, Charleston, South Carolina, great port. You can get off the ship, you're right in the city of Charleston. You could start hitting things. Port Canaveral, a little bit different. You're not super close to anything that you would really want to go to. So there are a few excursions if you get off the boat there or if you're starting your trip there. Interesting things like the Kennedy Space Center, SpaceX. So if you come down there and there's going to be a launch or something around noon, it's awesome. Otherwise, it's about a 10 to 15 minute ride to get just about anywhere, just to get out of the general vicinity of the port. So if you want to go to Cocoa Beach, which is right there, most of the cruise lines will have a little shuttle that'll take you to Cocoa Beach. Otherwise, you can just jump off the ship and do a Lyft or Uber and get right to Cocoa Beach. The other thing I think that is what Port Canaveral is most known for is it's the closest port to Disney, right? So Disney, Universal, all of those. The problem is generally when you dock around noon and you have to get back on the ship around 8 o'clock at night. It takes about an hour to get to Disney or Universal or any of the parks. So you don't have a ton of time. We were lucky in September, we went and we had an overnight in Port Canaveral. So we went to Epcot for the day. We did a bunch of things. That's amazing. On our last cruise, we got there at 7 in the morning. We were there until 8 o'clock at night. That's also great. It gives you an hour to get to Universal or Disney, spend the day there, and then your hour or so to get back. But other than that, there's not a ton to do. It does take a pretty long chunk of time to get into Orlando. But the one thing I will say about Port Canaveral is if you're leaving from Port Canaveral or coming back to Port Canaveral, that's where the port really shines because then you can just get off the ship or before you can kind of combine a package with Disney. So if you wanted to spend a couple days in Disney or you wanted to go to Universal and see Harry Potter World and those type of things, you're going to do that either before or after your cruise vacation that starts or ends in Port Canaveral. Other than that, those are the main highlights. Easy port to park, easy port to get in and out of. I recommend using Uber or Lyft if you're down there to get in and out of the port quickly. There are taxis and services and different things like that, but Uber and Lyft is very quick and you're in and out, and it's been pretty efficient for us. We did do the cruise line transport to Disney last time, and that was great too. No issues. I think it was $40 a person, something like that, so it wasn't bad. The Uber or Lyft to Disney is very expensive. It's like $100 to Disney. We had a few people, so we were in like the nice Uber, like the SUV Uber, Uber Black. So we were in that, so it was a little bit more expensive, but yeah, Port Canaveral, great port to leave out of, easy port to get to. But again, if you're flying in, I think the other tip is if you're flying into Orlando, flying to Fort Lauderdale, it's a pretty quick trip to the port. If you're flying into Miami, it's 20 minutes. If you're flying into Orlando, it's an hour. So it's going to be an hour to get to the cruise port. Keep that in mind. You know, obviously one of the biggest cruise tips everyone will give you is don't fly in the same day as your cruise, especially if you're going into Orlando. It is a long drive, so if anything happens and you're delayed, it's going to be a little sketchy getting there. So that is Port Canaveral, and we'll show you some clips of some of our experiences in Port Canaveral as well. But other than that, that's it. Hope everybody enjoyed this quick little review of Port Canaveral. Do you have any feedback, any places you like to go in Port Canaveral? Generally, we get off the ship to get some good internet because we work a lot on the cruise ships. So we'll get off and we'll jump into town and we'll go to Starbucks or something like that where we know there's dependable internet, and we'll just hang out there for a few hours and work. But let us know, what do you like to do in Port Canaveral? Have you been to SpaceX or the Kennedy Space Center? Have you gone on one of those crazy airboats that goes through the alligator infested water there? Let us know. And otherwise, we'll talk to you later. Hope everybody has a great day. And please subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate it. Thanks so much. Bye.